Okay, so I'll just continue forward because again, this is being recorded. Okay, so signs of being ungrounded. You overthink things. Okay, what I was saying is that there is what I call the what if energy. What if I do this? What if I do that? What if I do this? What if I do that? 94% of people who, or pardon me, people who worry, 94% of what is worried about will actually never happen. So therefore, why would we spend all this extra time worrying about something that only maybe 3% will actually happen or 6% will actually happen? Also, when you finish other people's sentences, that's indicating you're ungrounded because you're too impatient to wait for the person to talk. So, signs of being ungrounded. We were talking about how when you're ungrounded, you'll finish other people's sentences. And in a way, we have to look at the energy because the energy is when we're ungrounded, often very high in the brow and the crown. And so that means that when we're high in the brow and the crown, we're low in the root, but we have that telepathic capability, meaning we can complete other people's sentences because that's where our energy is at. We have a lot of high energy in our brow and our crown. Other things that are signs of being ungrounded is you'll engage in personal drama, you'll experience anxiety or perpetual worrying, which I mentioned earlier. You may even be obsessed to have materialistic things. You can also be easily deceived by yourself or other people because again, when you're ungrounded, you're not necessarily living in reality, but again, that possibility of worry, fear, or doubt. And when you're ungrounded, preoccupied with your personal image, that's another issue. And then you'll forget to eat or go to the bathroom. And often with people, when they're on their computer 24/7, where it's an addiction, maybe, gaming, or even for your profession, you might be on the computer a lot. Once you get into the computer, you're actually in the indigo world. In the indigo world, you'll have no perception of space and time. And so therefore, next thing you know, 8 hours has gone by, you haven't gone to the bathroom, you haven't eaten. So that again is indicating you're ungrounded, and computers will exacerbate your ability to be ungrounded. When you're ungrounded, you may be unrealistic and refuse to take responsibility for your actions. And it just is generalized where you may not take responsibility for things in your life, such as, preparing your food and eating properly, drinking ample water, doing the things that are life's necessities to help ground you. And we're going to be talking about that in a minute. Also, you'll give off or receive a lot of shocks. That is a surefire sign that you're ungrounded when you give off shocks, which also extends into the fact that electrical devices may fail, watches may stop, computers will shut down. When you're ungrounded, you will give off electrical shocks. And if you think about the plug outlet, it has a grounding cord in it. So if you're not naturally grounding yourself with doing grounding techniques, then you will give off a lot of shocks. And in the winter, your hair may stand up on end because again, you have so much static electricity built up that it becomes a problem. Now, physical signs of being ungrounded would be inflammation or yeast infections, poor sleep or sleeping excessively, chronic pain, migraines or headaches, physical fatigue, lack of vitality. People who have been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, seasonal affective disorder, often are very weak in the root chakra. And again, weakness in the root chakra extends into the fact that you're ungrounded. You may have poor circulation, cold hands and cold feet, digestive issues, problems absorbing nutrition, cellular dehydration, mental fatigue, and many other physical problems. Okay, whenever you have physical problems, that means that your root chakra is weak because your root chakra is your last defense mechanism around you. And again, we have to understand that this is really important because if you're ungrounded and if your root chakra is weak, resultant of your ungrounding, your protection to the outside world is not going to be very strong. So you'll be inundated with all kinds of things that can hurt you. Okay. Now, symbolically, when you're ungrounded, it means that you want to run away, that you want to flee, you want to escape. And in the color language, it suggests that you're weak in the root chakra and that your red intelligence center is also weak. In the language of the body, it means that you're not connected to life matters relating to the material world. And according to our color energy stats, and you have to understand that we have statistically studied thousands upon thousands of people using our color psychology test, using our biopulsar technology. We also have mini tests. And because I've taught thousands of people in classes, I have studied people and I can see that direct correlation to their color intelligence and their biopulsar scan. And 80% of people, according to our statistical studies, are low in the root chakra. Only 20% are adequately using their root. And when I say adequately, I mean the root isn't their number one chakra or color intelligence. It might be their third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, where 80% the root chakra is at the bottom. And it's because we tend to put priorities in our other chakras. We want to be more spiritual, so we put emphasis in our crown, or we want to be more psychic, so we put emphasis in our brow chakra, or maybe we want to be successful in business, so we put a lot of pride in our throat chakra abilities, or maybe we're a healer and we want to work with our heart chakra, or maybe we're in our yellow, like myself, who wants to teach and learn and study. Or maybe we're very social, so we're in our orange. But red is the energy of survival. It is our energy that connects us to planet Earth. Red is ultimately our life here on this planet. And one of the things that I always share with everyone, if you want to be more spiritual, you have to be in your physical body. If you want to be more intuitive, you have to be in your physical body. God gave us a body to have a spiritual life in. So therefore, both the root chakra and the crown chakra, or the brow chakra, or the throat, or the heart, or the solar plexus, or the sacral center, all need the support of the red energy, because to be actively using any chakra at any given time, we have to be here in this planet, in our physical reality. We need to have that red energy support. You can't soar if you're not properly grounded. And this is where a lot of people end up having psychological issues, because they're not properly grounded. When you're depressed, you're not properly grounded. Okay? When you live in worry, fear, anxiety, you're not properly grounded. So everything is connected to, that red energy, that grounding cord. Okay? And 2% of people, according to our color energy studies, are actually red people. That means 98% of the people that we have tested worldwide are in another color energy, are actively involved in another chakra, where 2% are only true red people. And some of it is the actual progression. We're going more towards the indigo energy of technology, and we're losing connection with our root energy, which is all about farming off the land, all about having families, all about with the practicality energy. But because we're no longer farmers, we're no longer living off the land as we once did, then of course that's causing a conflict with our root chakra. What are we doing to actively activate our root chakra? Nothing. Typically nothing. We ignore it. In school systems, we're saying physical education isn't as important anymore. As we get older, we're not as athletic as we were when we were younger. So throughout our life, we start to disconnect from the red. And this is why it's so important. And if we look at the fact that the root is our grounding cord and feeds our physical body its life force, the reality is that, we're not as connected, so we have little motivation in comparison, meaning we may have 100 ideas, but we may only manifest 1 or 2, because that 2% that we tend to use of the root chakra is very minimal. Okay? And it is our physical link between our spiritual world and our physical world. So we need to be grounded. That's really important. We need to, understand that the roots below us is what grounds us to this planet. And these roots, our grounding cord is invisible, but it's under our physical body. It goes right into the earth. And that's one of the grounding exercises we're going to talk about. And when we're properly anchored to the earth, we can reach for the sky, the stars, the universe, to our light source. We can reach as high as we want. And when we're ungrounded, we give off and receive electrical shocks and have difficulties around electronics. It's important to be grounded when you are insufficiently earthed. It can cause electrical disturbances to the whole, and many electrical currents can cause interference with nervous control and neurological consequences that include flightiness, behavioral changes, and even loss of consciousness. Now, when we talk about loss of consciousness, that loss of consciousness could be like literally where you black out. I have people who faint because they're so low on the red energy. Or it could just be that you zone out. You've actually lost consciousness with reality. Okay. Nowadays, with all the EMF pollution, it also puts excess stress on our personal electrical maintenance matrix, both inside and outside. Our auric field is an electrical matrix, and within our body we have an electrical matrix. And so therefore, when we are unearthed or ungrounded, that will have an effect on so many levels. And being ungrounded is a worldwide epidemic, and it really, we sometimes don't even see that problem that we're ungrounded. You know, and even today, I can share with you, some people signed up for the course, but they didn't see the information that said you have to actually register through Zoom. And so therefore, what ends up happening is we get all these people at the end that are going, how can I log on? Well, they didn't read the instructions. They just zipped through the email thinking all they have to do is hit one button. And this, again, is just part of our everyday life. You know, there's a girl in the office I always joke about because she has left the refrigerator door open. You know, she's left the sink running because she's so ungrounded. And, you know, there's things that can happen in our day that are dangerous. For example, we can drive from point A to point B and not even remember how we got there. That's because we were ungrounded. We weren't present. We were unconscious. And because our indigo is connected to our unconsciousness, our brow chakra is connected to our unconsciousness, it will help us get from point A to point B. For example, when we drive without getting in an accident, it'll stop at red lights, it'll go at green, but it's an unconscious energy. It's almost like we're in a dreamlike trance. However, we can still function. That is not living life. That is not living life, so we have to be grounded. Okay? Now, grounding has proven to, you know, reduce inflammation, improve immune response. It helps with emotional stress, improving blood flow, and elevating your moods and feelings and your general wellness. Now we're going to go into ways to ground. This is, you know, this is the meat and potatoes of everything, but I always like to give you some history so you understand the importance of grounding, because consciousness is key. And I always think about when I played basketball, you know, sometimes I would just be dying of thirst, but because I was in the middle of the game and, you know, may not have had my water bottle handy, I now can see some of the symptoms that I had of, you know, being ungrounded because of the fact that I wasn't nurturing my body with the, you know, the basic essentials. Now I understand the importance of grounding, and so therefore all these tips that I'm sharing with you today, there's so many of them, you really have to focus on filling your day with different grounding techniques. And because I gave some of the signs of being ungrounded, then hopefully you can recognize when you're ungrounded. So when you feel out of sorts, when you feel ungrounded, then you know all these different ways to ground. So the first thing I'm talking about is food and nutrition, because protein is our red connection, and protein is a dense energy, and red energy is dense. So in order to feed our body, we need to bring in that protein, because again, it will ground us because protein is dense. And of course, there's all kinds of red foods, and when you see the association of a lot of red foods, then you'll understand that connection to the root chakra. So kickstart your day with some good protein. And one of the things that I do is I have a lot of nuts around. You know, I cook with a lot of nuts. I actually made this banana bread and it had all kinds of nuts in it because again, nuts are really grounding. But I do give a tip here, wash or soak your nuts. And I say that because nuts naturally have an enzyme inhibitor, and that enzyme inhibitor protects it in an atrophied state until it's ready to actually become live active where it can grow into a plant. So by soaking our nuts, we remove that enzyme inhibitor. And if you actually go online and look up the soak time of nuts, you'll see that some nuts you may have to soak for 8 hours, but when you soak that nut for 8 hours, it becomes live active food. And you can, you know, bake it on a low temperature to re-crisp the nut, but then what you're doing is you're getting rid of the bacteria that is on the nut, because generally when you buy nuts, nobody's cleaned them. They've just been picked and there could be still some bacteria on the nut, so you want to wash it. And if you soak it with distilled water, then literally you can remove that bacteria, get rid of you know, the enzyme inhibitor, and really get the protein that's in the nut and the good nutritional aspect of the nut. So enhance your diet with macro and micro minerals, including your trace elements. Micro minerals are a catalyst for the proper absorption of your nutrition. So that's really important to make sure that you bring in a lot of micro minerals, because that could be a contributing factor to dehydration. And when you're dehydrated, that's also when you'll give off a lot of electrical shocks. And I'm going to go a little bit diagnostic here on you, but when people have precursor to, for example, stroke or heart attack, that's that lack of electrolyte activity, and so there are signals that can be given off. So for example, if you ever get a little electrical shock at the back of your neck, that's actually a precursor to a stroke symptom. So again, not that you'll get a stroke, but you want to alleviate that, and you need to by upping your microminerals as well as drinking an abundance of quality water. And I'm not necessarily talking about bottled water, because bottled water will sometimes have bacteria and other foreign elements that will actually cause more havoc to your body than by drinking, for example, distilled pure water. And of course, when we're dehydrated, it will affect our mind, our body, and spirit. And I'm an advocate of Andean salt, because Andean salt is loaded with your trace elements, which are necessary again for the absorption of water. And, you know, drink adequate water daily. And I put a little kitty there drinking water because for me, you know, if you look at animals, you'll learn a lot for animals. You know, for example, you'll see when they're thirsty, they'll drink, and they'll drink in abundance throughout the day. You're having to always refill their water container. And it's no different as a human being. We need to make sure that our water containers are always full. And what I've done is I've gone out and I've bought myself some pretty drinking glasses. And in fact, our office has red, orange, green, blue, you know, violet drinking glasses. I've bought all these beautiful drinking glasses. And in fact, I have a shungite stone in my drinking glass. And sometimes I'll charge it with my Chromalive Light Therapy pen light, additionally with frequency. So to me, you know, make sure you have lots of drinking water. And first thing in the morning, what I do is I fill my jug at work. And so that way I'm monitoring how much water I'm drinking during the day. These are things that you have to do. You have to plant water everywhere. I have water in my fridge. I have water, you know, that I keep a jug on my coffee table. So when I go home, I have the water right in front of me to drink. I have my big pitcher in my office. I have beautiful drinking glasses. So set yourself up for success, because you need to have, you know, adequate water throughout the day, because water is a grounding element, but also water provides and cleans your cell. Water combined with your microminerals creates the electrical charges in your body that is necessary for your energy matrix and for you know, the distribution of energy throughout our body. But we also need water as a primary life source. Okay, and you can enjoy a salt bath or swimming in the sea. And salt therapy is very important. I try to do a salt therapy bath once a week, and what I'll even do is I'll put 1 to 2 kilos in my bath water, and I'll lie in that bath water for 1 hour because you need that absorption. And somebody also gave me a little tip recently where if you add a couple tablespoons of baking soda, it will also help with the absorption of minerals. Okay, and when you're doing a salt bath, and a regular salt bath, I wouldn't recommend it when you're just doing a salt therapy treatment, but when you're doing a salt bath, you can actually combine it with color bath. And I wanted to show you, we have a color pigment that you can add to your bath water. So this way you're also charging your bath water in. If you're wanting to be grounded, add the salt water or the salt with the red color bath and some red oils, and then you have a very, very exciting spa treatment. And these are some of the things that I love to do and love to share. Is when I do a bath treatment, I'm always adding at least 100 grams of a salt, combined with my color bath and essential oils, so I have a sensory experience. And it's also a powerful vibratory experience. When we talk about vibrational medicine, this is exactly what we're doing when we're lying in a bath of color. And salt is also alkalizing, so it'll help to neutralize from the outside of your body inside. If you have any skin conditions, salt bathing is ideal because bacteria cannot grow in a perfect state of homeostasis. So when you're doing a salt water treatment, then again, you want to make sure it's on an alkaline level. And color bath, a red color bath, is so grounding, and it puts a pep back in your step. And if you don't have time to take a color bath, what you can do is do what I call a power shower, where you plug the drain and just pour a little bit of the color bath into your tub. And as the water is filling up in your bathtub when you're doing the shower, because the water is actually going over your head, and that's also very grounding, having that water go over your body, and then it'll fill up the tub, and then you're standing in a pool of red energy. So again, you can also do what I call a power shower in the morning. Now, aromatherapy. I love essential oils, and we carry all kinds of oils, and Color Energy is unique because we brand all our oils with a color label. So right away you'll know if you need a grounding oil. We have several oils that have the red label on it that you can instantly grab a red oil to support you. And benzoin, black pepper, black spruce, cinnamon, clove, juniper, red mandarin, sandalwood, spikenard, vanilla, vetiver, ylang ylang, those are all red oils. And we have this awesome Color Energy chart that on our chart we list all the different colored oils for the different chakras. So right away you'll know what oil you need based on whatever chakra. But because today we're talking about grounding, one of my favorite oils is sandalwood. I love that oil, and it's so grounding. And all you have to do is put some drops of any red oil, whether it's the red energy blend or sandalwood or vetiver or whatever. And this is all the base part of your palm connected to your root, and down in here is with your grounding cords. So when you put oils on your palms, you could just rub them on in those areas and massage them in, and then also recite an affirmation, something along the lines of, I am grounded, I am strong, I am healthy, I am grounded, I'm connected to earth, I'm connected to reality. So every time you're massaging your palm, what you're doing is affirming what you want. And within 15 seconds, essential oils are in your bloodstream doing its holistic magic of supporting you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. So aromatherapy is so powerful. And again, a lot of these tips that I'm giving you are nature's gifts to us. We have so many gifts on this planet that help us energetically. Now, one of my favorite products, and you may have heard me talk about this in different videos, is Aura Cleanser. And all you do is squirt a few squirts above your head, and right away it's energizing your energy matrix field. It's helping to realign things. It's helping to clear things that are cutting off your energy matrix, that are cutting off the energy coming into your body, as well as energy that needs to be released from your body. I actually tell everyone, use Aura Cleanser to release any invisible junk that's in your aura, any Klingons that can be hindering your ability to feel safe and grounded. And Aura Cleanser is known to help balance your polarities. So when your polarities are off, when your masculine energy are struggling, when your yin and your yang are in opposition, again, just a few squirts above your head. And one of the things that I do is after I get out of the shower, especially if I've done a power shower, I'm actually spraying all my chakras with the Aura Cleanser, cleansing every chakra, because I want to make sure I'm kickstarting my day being properly grounded by using my red oils, by doing my rituals in the bathtub, and again, getting myself, into my red energy so I'm grounded and safe, that I can accomplish a lot in my day. Also, magnesium. Magnesium is an element that's connected to grounding. Again, you can spray it over your head or on the soles of your feet to instantly ground your energy. And on a nutritional basis, you may want to supplement with magnesium. And if you want a good source of nutrition, just let me know and I'll hook you up with the company I use. However, I had one medical doctor that said a good doctor will tell you, if you need magnesium, eat a banana. Okay, because in a banana you have your magnesium, your calcium, and it's a perfect way actually to get the magnesium into your body. And another thing that you can do is you can actually put essential oils in an ionizing diffuser, and we're the only company in North America that sells an ionizing diffuser. It has a microchip in it that vibrates at over 100,000 units per cubic centimeter that creates ionized particles. And what I did the other day is I added some salt into it, and next thing you know, my whole living room was like a mist. It looked like I had a fire going on, but I created so many negative ions. It's kind of like when you go to a waterfall, when the waters hit each other, it creates a negative ion because the water is loaded with minerals. And so therefore you see that charge and it comes out as a mist. So here I had, my whole home was literally like a mist. It was phenomenal. You don't have to go to a waterfall. Sometimes you can create that energy within your own home. Now, a lot of people know about grounding mats, and a grounding mat will have will be grounded to the electrical outlet, or some of them may just actually have like a copper rod or some sort of metal rod coming from it, and that will actually ground you when you lie on it or if you stand on it. And it helps to limit the amount of built up static electricity. So a lot of people who are working on electronics, this is a really powerful thing to have. And remember, if there's too much static electricity in your body, it can actually prevent the damage to your brain cells. And this is really important because more and more people are suffering from brain fatigue. And so again, we need to do these things that are going to help support us in a positive way. And we can naturally earth. We can connect to nature naturally. We can get outside and dig our feet into the earth, or you can put your feet in a sandbox, or you can put your feet into the ocean. Any water element like a babbling brook or a waterfall or the sandy shores of an ocean. That's natural earthing. And other things you can do is, wrap your arms around a tree, hug a tree, or lie down in the grass and stare at the sky, look at the clouds, or if it's at night, look at the stars. Close your eyes and feel the earth beneath you. And you can also buy some flowers or do some gardening or go hiking. Okay, then we have the tree stand. Now I'll share another little story with you. My chiropractor, one time I went into his office and he said, okay, I want you to do something before I get you on the table to do the chiropractic adjustment. And he said, Suzanne, I want you to hold your arms out, and what I want you to do is I want you to stand on one foot and close your eyes. So I did exactly what he said, and there I am, on one foot with my eyes closed, struggling to stay stay erect, not fall over. And eventually, after 1 minute, I fell over and I went, wow, I didn't go very long. And he said, oh, Suzanne, you actually surpassed 1 minute. You're the third person out of about 100 people that went beyond 1 minute. Most people standing on their one leg, didn't last more than 10 to 30 seconds. I was one of 3 people that lasted over 1 minute. Now, I can also share with you, as I was doing that, I was envisioning a cord going through my body into the earth. So I actually, without realizing it, I was grounding myself. No wonder I could do 1 minute. However, you can also do a tree stance where you just stand parallel with your feet apart, raise your hand erect and your back straight, rest your hands on your sides or over your belly and sink all of your weight and tension into your feet without collapsing your body. Allow yourself to be absorbed into the ground. Get that feeling of heaviness. And you can also support this process doing a visualization exercise, or in yoga there is the tree pose, which in a way is what the chiropractor had me do. But of course with the tree pose, you're just putting your hands above your head and again standing with one foot on the ground, but typically your eyes are open, but again you're focusing on centering. And for visualizations, what you want to do is envision that there's roots coming out of your feet and going into the earth, into the core of the earth, and imagining, that there's a cord running through you, and this cord is an invisible power cord that's anchoring your body to the ground so you can reach the stars. And in the article, I actually give you time frames, to suggest that you do these things for a minute or 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. Now another thing is you can actually do a grounding grid, and what that is there are books on creating crystal grids where you're laying the crystals on your body in a certain formation, and by doing that, what you're doing is actually grounding yourself. Now, one of the things that I did was I have created a grounding grid, and this is something that we're going to be laminating and offering with some gemstones, and so you can actually create this grid for doing your own grounding purposes. Otherwise, you can, just lie on the ground, throw, a couple of grounding stones on your root chakra, and just envision yourself being grounded. But there are books on creating grounding grids, so I'm not going to go too heavy into that. But gemstones carry the power of whatever stone, and you'll notice that a lot of red and black stones are often the stones that are known for grounding and protection. So I've got a whole bunch of stones like black onyx, black tourmaline, bloodstone, hematite, red garnet, red jasper, jet, obsidian, petrified wood, ruby, shungite, smoky quartz, and red tiger's eye. And shungite is one of the most powerful stones because it carries a lot of the elements of the periodic table. Somebody told me all of them. I don't know if that's true, but because shungite has a lot of the elements in it, I'm always wearing a shungite, and in fact I'm showing you here my red jasper, my shungite, and I always put a quartz crystal in between, so that way again it's keeping my shungite and my red jasper a little bit separated, but the quartz crystal amplifies the energy. And I was going to show you too, in my phone I also put a shungite disc, and these are also tools that Color Energy carries. So I always have a shungite in my cell phone to again protect myself from EMF pollution. And shungite is will actually protect you from a lot of toxic matter. So it's really good for protection, but it's also a super stone for grounding. Now, if you have a high crown and brow chakra, you can either place your hand over your brow, or you can place your hand on top of your crown, and just for a minute or two, and again, envision that those chakras are supporting you, but they're not so wide open that it's causing conflict. So, again, it's not that it's going to take away power from your crown or brow, but it's just going to help, close it a little bit, so that way you're not so susceptible to everything. Also, treat your feet. apply pressure to the soles of your feet. And I like to add a bunch of oils. On Sunday, I did a beautiful treatment on my feet where I took some nice red oil and just lathered my feet and did a beautiful massage and really felt that grounding energy coming in. And by pressing the different reflex zones on your feet, and I just do it, I'm not a reflexologist, I just do it where I feel it's necessary, and especially in any areas that I feel a little pain or stress or tension, I'll rub a little bit more. And you know, we have our red energy blend to help you do this soulful treatment. And breath work. Close your eyes and inhale and envision the breath going through your esophagus, you know, through your lungs and into your belly. And a music teacher told me if you put your hands on the back of your sides of your back, you can actually feel your duodenum expand, or your diaphragm, pardon me, your diaphragm expand as it fills with breath, and then you bring that belly, you bring the breath into your belly. If you watch a baby, you'll see their tummy go up and down. That's the proper way to breathe, and a lot of people breathe very shallow. So breath work can be very grounding. And then as you exhale, you follow the breath leaving your lungs and exiting through your mouth. And the key is to observe your breath instead of focusing on it with your mind, and let your body lead and your mind follow, and repeat several times or for 2 to 3 minutes. And colored clothing. I actually chose to wear a top that had reds and oranges in it because I wanted to show you that when you wear more vibrant clothing, that's going to be more grounding. You know, and in fact, I always like to tell people that my family went out and bought me red slippers, a red house coat. I have red pants. I have like 3 pairs of red shoes. I have a red skirt. I have a couple red dresses. I wear a lot of red because I know that that is a phenomenal color to keep me grounded. And because I want an abundance of physical vitality and I want to have that inner courage and strength and confidence, red is the energy that will promote that. So anything along the lines of red in color is going to be beneficial. And other techniques would be mindful walking. Also rolling like a cat. Apparently when you roll like a cat, that's very grounding. And again, you know, you can roll on the grass if you're outdoors, or stretch like a dog. You know, there's different exercises that you can do in yoga, Tai Chi, or having a hot cup of a spicy tea. I like to kickstart my days with a nice chai tea. Now, anything else that makes you feel grounded, you know, this is really important, you know, to do the things that make you feel good, that make you feel grounded. And I'd love to hear from you, learn any of your grounding techniques. Now, in the article that I wrote that I said I followed for today's protocol are some other tips. So for example, I talk about grounding elements, and I've also given a recipe for grounding, an essential oil blend that you can make yourself, as well as I mentioned, Color Energy has their red energy blend. We also have our Chi energy blend. And I also give you a recipe for an aromatic spray. And what I do is I just simply tell you, take sandalwood floral water or hydrosol, and you can boost it with additional red oils to even make it more powerful, because hydrosols are usually a less stronger version of the essential oil. So if you want to make a nice room spray, as a base, you use the sandalwood hydrosol, and then you can boost it with essential oils. And you can even put little gemstones in there to give it more groundedness. And there are a few other things that I don't mention in my article, but candle therapy. If you actually light a red candle and focus your intention of being grounded and stare at the candle at the same time, then that's actually called candle therapy. So you can make your own little grounding ritual. And when you're lighting the candle, you could also use our red crystal light therapy spray, where again you just can instantly ground yourself by spraying the red oils above your head that have also been energetically charged, and it includes flower essences, so really, really powerful. I always have stones in my pocket, so I typically will carry shungite and red tiger's eye in my pocket, and I do put shungite in my drinking water. So again, these are all things that you can purchase at Color Energy. And I even wear shungite pendants. So I wanted to show you all the different things that I do. And I don't do it just because, you know, it's pretty jewelry or, you know, that the aromatherapy smells. I do intentional things because I understand with the amount of things that I want to personally accomplish in my life, I need to be grounded. I need to be in my root chakra. I need to have the power of red to support me. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this workshop, because again, if 80% of people are not in their root chakra, they're not accomplishing a lot of what they'd like to do in life. You might accomplish this, that, and the other thing, but I want you to succeed. I want you to achieve all your goals in this life. And so that means you have to be properly grounded. Okay, and I did kickstart the class by wearing my red glasses, and Carolyn is also wearing her red glasses, and these are things that we can just do. Kickstart our day by wearing red therapy eyewear, using oils and essences, you know, eating foods that are red in nature. Use your imagination, play with, you know, the color red and all means, and again, a lot of tips on color. And if you'd like to receive this article and you're watching this video for the first time, you know, please, you know, send us an email at color@colorenergy.com. And I would love for you to visit our YouTube channel. And because we had some technical difficulties, this whole video was taped, and so there will be an unadulterated you know, version on our YouTube channel. And I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we need to grow our YouTube channel in order for us to actually monetize more. And we could use your help doing that. Or go to www.colorenergyshop.com if you'd like to purchase some of the tools that I talked about. And for those of you that are practitioners, if you're already a Color Energy account, then you know how that works. But if you're a practitioner and you'd like to bring in some grounding tools or some Color Energy products into your business, please call us. And again, we appreciate your support. So please subscribe, share, like, and comment on our YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoyed the video today. And again, we will put it online for you to watch again.